Hey, what is up, everybody? Welcome to Rats on Film, the show where a bunch of film rats talk about and rank movies. Today on the show, we're back in the Star Wars universe to talk about the spin-off movies. On the show with me today, I have Andy.
Heyo.
Johnny.
This is the way.
And I'm your host, Xander. Welcome to the show, everybody. I didn't come up with I should have said this is the way or something. I didn't even think about it.
That's just bad planning on your part.
Bad host.
Nothing else to
bad
say,
hosting.
really. You should have been animatronic, if we're being honest.
Oh, shit. Dude, I wish I was animatronic.
There was a lot of stop motion in that movie, right?
Yeah, there was.
Yeah, that was crazy.
I feel like I didn't even notice that.
The big robot, the big mechs fighting.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, we got some film rats here, Star Wars rats, to talk about the Star Wars spin-off movies. Obviously, because The Mandalorian and Grogu, the first Star Wars movie in a while now, has just come out. Tim's not here because he doesn't really love Star Wars that much.
Dang.
Most of the Star Wars he hates. That's a fact.
Yeah, that's actually probably true.
That is probably true.
And he can't even defend himself, which is probably the best part.
But so the three of us are here. The other three Star Wars rats are here to do The Mandalorian and Grogu, but also the two other Star Wars spin-off films that Disney has made since they acquired the Star Wars IP. Johnny suggested, I think that this is a good call. We're going to start, usually we go in chronological order, but we're going to go backwards, start with the new movie, because that's probably what most people are curious to hear people talk about right now.
Are they?
Well, let's see. So first up on the list, The Mandalorian and Grogu from 2026. Quick little synopsis. It's about The Mandalorian and Grogu, and they go on a bounty hunting mission.
Well, I can already tell your opinion of the movie.
Really quick, since it's a new release, it's been out for a couple weeks, but we were a little bit busy. Non-spoiler reaction to the movie, and then we'll get into spoilers. You guys have non-spoiler thoughts?
I'm wrestling with the idea that I saw the movie the first week and there was only two other people in the theater with me. Like, that was kind of depressing to me as a big Star Wars fan, that it doesn't really seem like people are that interested in this movie.
I'll be honest, I had the exact opposite experience. There was so many kids in the theater.
But you saw it the first day.
Screaming. Yeah, that's fair.
Like the first day is always going to have people. I saw it on Wednesday of the first week. Like, that drop off is kind of a lot.
Yeah.
Like, I was surprised, genuinely. I saw it at 7 p.m.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it the same day as you, Johnny. My theater was, I'm in between you guys. My theater was half full, but people who were in the theater were excited about it, which was kind of fun. There was some people. There were, I would say, hooting and hollering for.
But you live in LA,
which
I live in a regular person place.
What was the average age of the audience? Was it 8?
No, I honestly, no kids.
Wow.
We saw it at like 9:00 at night on a Wednesday.
Oh,
so
okay,
I guess
that
that's
things.
part of why.
I saw it at like 7 p.m. So.
And yours was only kids.
It was a lot of kids.
I mean, that's kind of cool. Sometimes I think I wonder if kids are excited about Star Wars or care. Because I don't have perspective on it, I feel like. I
felt myself like kind of thinking that it was unfair when I get annoyed at them when they were like screaming at their dad, like, "Oh, it's the Mandalorian, Dad!" Whenever he would get hit by anything. But then I was like, man, that was me at one point, like, I'm happy they're here.
Did you grab them and explain to them how Beskar works?
No, I just
he can't be hurt. Bullets have no effect.
Yeah, they're fake fans, actually. I'm realizing
they probably call him Baby Yoda.
They in fact did.
Yeah. Despicable. But yeah, my opinion on the actual movie, I thought it was okay. I had issues with it from like a story and narrative perspective, or issues in the way that I just felt like there wasn't a lot there. It didn't have anything to do really, but I thought visually it was really cool, and I thought the music was really good, and I had a fun time watching it, but I don't think it was like an amazing story. So I guess okay is my non-spoiler review.
Yeah, that's fair. I feel like I recognize there basically was zero character development or any sort of arc or change in anything. It's almost like I wasn't even looking for that in this movie, and so I was fine with it, It was like, there's not much character development, at least in my opinion, in any one episode of like The Mandalorian, and this kind of just felt like a long episode, maybe 2. And it had a higher
hear what you're
production value
saying.
than
It definitely had a higher production value.
Yeah.
I do hear what you're saying, but I actually think I was rethinking about the show and like looking up episodes to try to jog my memory. I never watched season 3, but I saw the first 2 seasons. And I think there is a lot more character development and actual arcs in the show. Like a lot more. Not that it's anything crazy, but I guess my point for the movie is that I don't think they had to do anything crazy. I guess I've seen some people online say like, this movie has no effect on the greater Star Wars universe. And I think that's a stupid critique. I don't think that not every single
didn't need to have
Star Wars things needs to have like a greater ramifications for the entire universe. I think that thinking is some of the problems with some of the other movies, actually.
Yeah.
But I do think it should have personal stakes and personal arc for the characters themselves, like Mandalorian and Grogu, or one of them at least. And I think the show does have that. Minimally, you know what I mean? To the most basic degree, but still it has it.
Yeah, I think it's also a different prospect when you talk about a show versus a movie. Because I definitely agree with you, Johnny. It's minimal, but it's also, you're kind of making an arc over a season of television, right? But in a film, it's like a one sitting narrative experience. You're not like building stuff over time. And so I think there's a little bit more onus to do something in the screen time that you have. You know, maybe if you took 2 random episodes and 2 hours of The Mandalorian from the show, there wouldn't be that much plot or character development. But over the course of, I'm with you, I haven't seen season 3, but over the course, of season 1 and season 2, there's a lot more than there is here. I think this movie's pretty abysmal. This might be like the most scathing I've ever been on a movie on Rats.
Uh-oh.
I mostly agree with everything you guys said. I think it just maybe just didn't work for me as well as it worked for you guys. Technically, really well made. Visually, really good. I thought some of the set pieces were cool and fun, and the score was incredible. Easily the standout part of it for me. I thought the score was really good. It was weird. I went into this with pretty middle to low expectations, and I feel like my expectations were far under it, which was not. I was expecting it to be like, oh yeah, that was pretty fun and like pretty solid, and I just walked away kind of being like, that wasn't a movie.
My low expectations were also key to my enjoyment of the movie, so
I feel like my expectations did play into my lack of enjoyment of watching it. You want to get into spoilers?
You can't even spoil the movie.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You literally can't spoil the movie.
Wait, just really quick. I'm just going to say, spoiler alert for the movie if you haven't seen it yet and you care. I agree with everybody. It can't really be spoiled, but just in case you're susceptible to spoilers now.
I think you can spoil it. You can spoil it by saying what doesn't happen.
Nothing.
At least when I saw the trailers for the movie, it was like, okay, they're setting up like maybe even like the Mandalorian dies in this movie, you know?
Yeah, that's the only spoilers that he doesn't, right?
And the kids that I was with, they were obviously they were tapped into.
They thought it was happening.
They were just screaming about it. Yeah.
It's funny you bring up the marketing, Andy, because I had such an interesting reaction to the marketing of this, where I was watching the trailers being like, these trailers look very nothing. And I went, that's kind of cool, because I hate modern trailers. I think trailers like ruin movies a lot of the time.
Yeah, no, I had the same reaction. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just like, this either means that Disney has decided to change their complete philosophy about how they market movies, because Disney's pretty bad about this, or it means there is truly nothing to spoil in this movie because there is no plot.
Okay. So what happened for me was the third option, where I was like, I see what they're doing. There's going to be a lot of plot, and they're purposefully not showing us anything because something big happens, like the Mandalorian dies.
I see you, Disney.
And so they have to like cut around that, you know?
Yeah.
But now I'm realizing how foolish that was, because the Mandalorian is such a cash cow for them that they would
it's not,
never
though.
do that.
It's not.
Yeah. They thought it
got
was
beat by 2 indie horror movies at the box office this weekend.
Yeah, so they really should have killed him off.
They
should have like actually taken a swing and ended it, you know, and maybe actually made a good movie.
It would have been good, right?
It would have been better.
Could have been really emotional. Yeah.
A big thing I feel with a lot of movies I see recently, or I don't know, I've been having this experience a lot where I actually texted Andy right after the movie and I was like, oh yeah, it was actually not bad. It was not as bad as I thought it was going to be. And I go to see the movie alone, and then, you know, you just leave and you don't really talk to anybody. You get in your car and you drive home. And on the drive home, like, my smile slowly fades and turns into a frown. Like, the second flashing lights stop happening and action scenes stop happening, because the action and the visuals in the movie were very good, I thought.
Yeah,
like,
I
there was a
agree.
lot of shots that I was like, wow, this shot looks incredible. But then the second you're stopped being like force fed cool stuff and you actually have to sit with it, you realize that this movie has like literally nothing to it.
It's so hollow.
A weird thing that always bothers me about movies like this now, because this is not the first movie I've seen even this year that's like this. Like Mario Galaxy was like this as well. I'm like, there's so much in the movie that's there to be used for character arcs and for something, for some semblance of story. Like, I'm talking specifically about the Road to the Hut thing. I actually thought his character was cool. And the whole thing about how you kind of think he's going to be a piece of shit, but he doesn't want to be like Jabba. He wants to be his own man. He told us like 15 times. I thought that was an interesting parallel about Rhoda, whatever. We don't know how to say it. Rhoda being like...
Rada
being like, my dad was a violent, bad man, and I hate him. And I'm going to be a different person. And then maybe Mando looking at his relationship with Grogu being like, I'm taking him on all of these missions and doing bad things and killing people, and I'm involved in like underground syndicates and things. Am I making a bad like maybe wrestling with that a little bit? And I'm like, it's right there, it's in the movie. You set that up. That's not me making that up from nothing. Do you know what I mean? It's in the movie.
Yeah, right. And like, and he was even Rhoda, whatever, was even calling him out for working for the Hutts or whatever. And he was like, had to clarify that he wasn't working for the Hutts, he was working for the New Republic or whatever. You're right, it was set up.
I feel like the reason this, I don't know, for lack of a better word, pissed me off so much was there was just not even a shred of a new idea literally anywhere in this entire movie. At like every character that shows up, every beat that happens, like literally everything has already been done in Star Wars. Rada the Hutt, an existing character. Zeb, an existing character. The Hutt twins, existing characters. Then you've got like the classic set pieces. We got a snake fight, basically the same thing as the fight in Return of the Jedi. So, thought visually cool, but again, the Hutts drop you in a pit and a big monster tries to kill you. The X-wings show up and bomb a base at the end. Like, it's just every single thing in this entire movie was a retread.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Oh, snow and AT-ATs? Whoa, that's crazy. We've never seen that before.
How did they not hit him, though? He wasn't going that fast.
I don't know.
Yeah, they really were running back to classics.
It's literally everything has been done before.
I see. It didn't bother me that much watching it, but I do agree with what you're saying. Another thing that bothered me in the movie was this has got to be some of the worst acting I've ever seen in any movie in my memory. Like, I remember when the movie started and they have that guy, they're in the snow area, whatever, and he's trying to capture that Imperial guy. Who was that guy?
That was almost comical, yeah.
But then Sigourney Weaver comes in and she's like, Mando, I got a mission for you. Bro, I like Sigourney Weaver, but what the fuck? Jeremy Allen White, who I also think is an amazing actor, him being Rada the Hutt. I'm not my father. Like,
yeah, Jeremy Allen White should have been speaking Hutties.
No, but just it just shouldn't be so flat, especially because Mandalorian as a character is flat. But that's the character, right? Like, he's stoic, he's a little bit monotone, but it's part of his character. If you know that that's your main character, wouldn't you want the other characters to maybe even be amped up a little bit to try to have some contrast, as opposed to just every single performance in the entire movie is just completely flat? I found that really weird.
Well, yeah, I agree with you, and I think the same can be said about what we were talking about earlier about the character arc, right? If you don't want to give the Mandalorian a character arc because, you know, he's a character who doesn't change, whatever, if that's your feeling, you have to put something else in there.
Yeah, it's true. It could have been somebody else.
Why can't Rada the Hutt go through an arc? Why does Rada the Hutt start in the first conversation he has? You alluded to this already, Johnny, but we're going to get into this of like the dialogue is so repetitive where like Rada the Hutt meets the Mandalorian and he says, I'm not my father. I came here and they hated me and now they love me. I'm my own man. Then he goes back to him and he goes, I'm not my father. I came here and they hated me and now I'm my own man. I'm like, what the fuck? It was giving like, again, I think it is 4 episodes of a TV show stitched together. It was giving what you would do in an episode that comes out week to week where you have to remind the audience what the stakes are and what's happening. But it was in a movie and it was like 15 minutes later.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that was for the kids.
I hate this excuse because kids aren't dumb.
Well, they kept thinking Mando was dead.
Yeah. Every time he was on the ground, they were screaming about him.
He sits down. He just sits down to relax. Dad, is he dead? I almost became Boba there for a second. Hey, Dad. Dad. Hey, Dad, get him. Hey, Dad, what happened to your head?
But you brought this up already, Johnny, of the I lost my train of thought thinking about your head. You brought it up already about the Mario Galaxy movie. And we had a similar conversation about that where I don't really accept this idea of like, we got to dumb shit down for kids. I don't think it's necessary. I think kids are capable of understanding basic emotional arcs and character development and plot narrative and stories.
I mean, we all liked the original Star Wars movies as kids, and they have a lot of like emotion and plot
absolutely.
and character development.
Oh, yeah. Well, I didn't understand the taxing trade routes.
No, but that's the
Really
point. You don't
at
need
all,
to
but-
understand it. Like, you understand the emotional side. I mean, like, Anakin Skywalker becoming Darth Vader is like a gigantic character arc happening over multiple movies, you know, that's slowly building.
Yeah, exactly. So if the emotional core is there as a kid, it doesn't matter the specifics of the plot line or whatever. But there was no emotional core to this movie.
And then I'm only bringing up the Darth Vader Anakin Skywalker thing because I've seen people be like, "Oh, it's Star Wars, it's for kids," and it's like, but that doesn't mean you don't have emotions and you don't have character arcs. Like, that's so stupid.
Yeah, I just feel like I feel like I was okay with the movie. It wasn't like incredible to me, but I was like, yeah, it was fun. And the way I was thinking about it when I left was like, it was like really like a Western, and the Mandalorian was like the man with no name, like zero character development over the course of the movie. He's an established character, and you're just following like the crazy, escapades of this, character.
I can see that as something they were thinking, but I think I agree with Xander that if that's what you're going for, then you have to have a separate main character who has something, you know?
Yeah, I guess I think most movies do. I'm just like, I guess I'm okay with a movie not doing that and it being kind of a spectacle, That's how I was thinking about it, like coming out of it.
I honestly, Andy, I think that's fair. I don't necessarily disagree with that. I think it comes back to what I was saying, where for me, because everything was a retread, it wasn't that the spectacle of it was bad, but nothing really excited me in it. That's fair. It visually looked good. Like, I'm totally with you, Johnny. Technically, it's really well made. It looks way better than the show. I mean, you could tell they're not using the volume as much here.
I thought they were going to be using the volume, and when I was watching, I was like, thank God they're clearly not. This looks actually good.
There were some really cool sets. There was some really cool, like, the Hut homeworld had some cool design.
Yeah, that city planet and the fighting in the ring was also cool. We hadn't seen that before, right? Well, I guess episode 2, but
you saw it on Chewbacca's chessboard.
Yeah, I was about to say, and we do the little chess callback. And
that was a cool callback, though. That was not a stupid callback, in my opinion.
Listen, I don't think it's stupid. I like that stuff. Yeah. My feeling, though, is that doesn't make the movie good on its own. That's supposed to be a little extra sauce in an existing good thing. You know what I mean?
I think this is like the same reason I like I'm okay with watching episode 2, It's like emotionally the movie doesn't really work.
But there's an arc, though. Whether it's good or not, like, Anakin is going through an arc in the movie. You know what I mean? You can argue whether it's well executed or not. I think that's valid. But like, they tried to do something. I don't even think they tried here.
No, that's my point too.
I agree. They didn't try.
I don't think that, like, and don't get me wrong, I didn't hate the movie. I thought it was fine. I could appreciate what Andy's saying, but also I have the same problems as Xander's saying. I'm not saying that the movie should be like Andor levels of character development and seriousness and like complexity of emotion. It just needs to have something. I think you could. Yeah. I'm perfectly okay with being like, oh, it's maybe a more like kid-friendly oriented movie. Baby Yoda is fun, like, and all of that stuff. But you gotta have something.
And again, I guess to your point where like the parts were there, like they set it up in a way that it seemed like there was going to be a payoff with like him shooing Grogu off, and being like, you save yourself, leave me to die. And then there's 20 whole minutes of Grogu foraging in the woods.
Honestly, that was probably my favorite part.
I was going to say, I kind of like that part.
Really? That's when I used the bathroom. That's when I decided to leave.
I honestly, I wish it paid. I wish it paid off in a greater way.
It doesn't pay off. I just liked it because it was a change of pace.
So that's what I was gonna say. It's just like, I think it really felt weird for me when that whole sequence happened, and then the Mandalorian was rescued, and he just goes like, the old protect the young, then the young protect the old. This is the way. It was like, so that could have been an emotional moment, and it's like when your dad makes it weird and he doesn't It's like, oh, this could have been an emotional moment, but now you okay. I guess I'll just shake your hand.
Like, again, the movie pissed me off in a lot of ways, and one of the things that pissed me off was the use of Grogu. Because, like, listen, I like him. He's a cute little guy. They have a lot of fun with him. But again, just like nothing, he eats. That's like every joke in the movie is that he likes to eat. He eats popcorn. He tries to steal Sigourney Weaver's little nuts. He eats in Rada's thing. He eats the macaron. Like, anything else? Any other ideas with this little guy? Nothing else?
I like the part where he was knocking on Mando's helmet because they were going to explode. I really liked that part.
That was very good.
That was a good part.
And when he bashed his head into the little hut he built. But why I liked that sequence was that it kind of showed some amount of growth for Grogu, that like, oh, he's actually like being able to take care of somebody else now. He's not always being taken care of. And then they didn't pay it off in any way other than, like you said, Andy, just like a line of dialogue to like explain what just happened over the last 20 minutes.
I mean, from a creative standpoint, why are they making this movie genuinely? Like, why is Jon Favreau interested in making this movie? Why is Dave Filoni interested in making this movie? Besides they're being told to be honest, money.
I feel like 90% of the movie was action sequences, and it felt like that's what they wanted out of it.
I agree with you.
Was these high budget action, and the action sequences were awesome.
Yeah, they looked really good.
But yeah, it was like constant. So like to me, it was like, oh, this is why they did it. They wanted to like execute on these high budget action sequences that they couldn't do in the volume. Yeah,
and I agree with that, and I can also completely accept that because I like action movies. But look at John Wick, for example, which I think a lot of people would go, oh, it's just like a stupid action movie. But even that, it's kind of about him coming to terms with his wife being killed and getting revenge for them killing his dog. Like, there's an emotional thing to it.
Yeah, it's basic as shit, but
that's my point. It can be so basic. But you just got to do something. A lot of people are talking about the character arcs and stuff because it's very blatant. But another thing that I thought was extremely blatant was that the movie has basically zero stakes at all. The entire movie. And I felt that was really strange. Like, the stakes are basically like, is Grogu going to get killed? Or is Mando going to get killed? But you need to have like something more than that, like a personal stakes to it. And it felt extremely apparent to me, like the lack of stakes at the very end when after they defeat the Hutts and then the New Republic comes and the robots are trying to kill them and they're like, blow up the base. But you're still in there. No, blow it up anyway. Why? Why are you telling them to blow it up when you're still in there? For what reason does the base need to be blown up? Good point. I feel like as writers, they were like, there's no stakes, so we need to add stakes, right? Which is true. There were none. But they were so manufactured. It feels like they're just being like, oh, at Star Wars, the Death Star gets blown up at the end, so we got to blow this up.
Yep.
Yeah, and it doesn't feel 1/10 as triumphant because there's nothing.
Because it doesn't actually matter in the long run.
Any opportunity they had to do something new, they just went, nah.
I like the Babu Fricks.
Dude, I like them. They're fun. I liked them in episode 9. That's probably the best part of episode 9. But like, you could have made a new guy.
There is no best part of episode 9.
No, the Babu Fricks were.
They were really good.
I really liked them. Nice shot, baby. Loved it.
We're getting a little positive now. The part where they bring Mando back after they like rescue him from the snake and they're like, get on the ship, and it's tiny. Amazing.
Yeah.
I love that.
He didn't even try. You know what I mean? Why didn't he like hold on to the top or something? He could have rode it like a skateboard, like a hoverboard.
And yeah, I mean, we're shitting on it a little bit because we're getting to like the weeds of plot and stuff. But I don't think it was like a terrible, awful movie. I still had a fun time. And I agree with you, Andy, that I do think what they were trying to make was a cool action Star Wars Western.
Yeah.
And I like it for that. I just think you could have done just the bare minimum and it would have elevated it to a pretty good movie.
I agree. It is weird because they had the pieces there and they just didn't use them.
I definitely like movies just for the action. I'm a Jackie Chan fan. I like Mission Impossible. You brought up John Wick, Johnny. I like all of those. And so this one, I think it's so barren of anything that just the action being good just did not do enough for me.
To be honest, I thought there was too much action.
Yeah. Well, it gets stale after a while if there's nothing else.
Yeah. It was almost like there were no breaks, you know? It was like the longest period of time with no action was like 45 seconds long.
Yeah, just when Grogu is he's foraging.
Yeah, that was the only time.
Oh yeah, right. Well, I wasn't in the theater for that.
Oh yeah,
part,
European.
So yeah.
I will say in the positive camp too, we shouted out in the non-spoiler section, but the score is really good. And what
I
would
really
give
good.
Particular praise about it to Ludwig Göransson is that the original score he did for the show is great. The Mandalorian theme is a really good theme. And he easily could have just sat back and just been like, let me do a couple variations on this work I've already done and just pad out this movie. But he honestly did something really unique. It felt really unique for Star Wars. It felt unique for The Mandalorian. It has like a cool electronic, like almost Tron vibe to it. I thought it was really cool. And it gave a really unique feel to a lot of the scenes.
I agree. It was like almost Blade Runner-y.
Yes, 100%.
On that planet. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, I was I pounded it, but I was pretty disappointed.
I thought it was fine.
It has so much to do with the expectations you have, because I also thought it was fine, but my expectations were so low. And I don't even really know why they were. I just was not feeling it, but I enjoyed some parts of it. One last thing I want to talk about is I did see in interviews Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni talking about how originally Jon Favreau had written a season 4 for the show, but then they decided to make a movie, and that he threw away the show script, and how him and Dave Filoni wrote a new script together to be a movie, and they didn't use the TV show script. Bullshit. There's absolutely no way that that's true.
You can feel the episode. I mean,
yeah, you can see where the episodes start and end. Like, you can see.
The Grogu on his own is an episode, right? That was an episode. There's literally like the fade out when they rescue Rada. That was the end of an episode.
Yeah, and them going to the base, and we're talking about the pacing being weird to like capture that guy that Rada tells them about. That's clearly supposed to be an episode that they've just like cut the infiltration part out, right, and got to the meat of it because there's not enough time.
Could be.
Like maybe they're telling the truth. But I just find
I'm not
that
saying
very
they
hard
didn't
to believe.
rewrite new ideas, but it's definitely ideas that could have been episodes. Whether they had scripts for these things or not, it definitely was things that they were like, oh, this could be an episode of the show. The Mandalorian gets poisoned and Grogu hunts around this swamp and revives him and makes a friend with a little fisherman or whatever. It's clearly an episode of the show.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying they wrote nothing to make it a movie. But it felt like in this interview, they were claiming they threw everything away and they wrote it from scratch to be a movie from the start. And I just cannot believe that, having watched it. And this is a persistent problem in Star Wars because they did the opposite with the Kenobi show. And that was worse because of it. Because they dragged the movie out into a show and there wasn't enough content. So they just have a weird track record of doing this.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. All right, start on the top. Next up on the list, Solo, A Star Wars Story from 2018. Quick little synopsis. It's the origin story of everyone's favorite smuggler, Han Solo. Follows him from his life on Corellia, gets out, and then he takes a job to try and win back his love from his homeworld.
Do you think if they made a sequel to this, they would have called it Duo, A Star Wars Story?
Yes.
I think they would have called it Han Solo and Chewbacca.
That's not as cool, though. The duo could be Han Solo and Chewbacca.
Yeah, you're right. Honestly, maybe that's what they should do. Duo, and then Han Solo and Chewbacca.
As long as they explained why his name is Chewbacca.
Well, they do. They did in this movie. Chewbacca. That I'm never gonna remember that. I'm gonna have to give you a nickname. Turns to the camera and winks. I don't know if unpopular opinion. This is a good movie.
I agree with you, Johnny. I'm with you. I like this movie.
Extremely underrated movie.
100% agree.
Underrated for sure.
It's not like the best Star Wars movie or anything. It has issues. I think at the time, people really didn't like it because one of the main issues with the movie is the over-emphasis on, like, callbacks, right? This movie has egregious, over-the-top callbacks, like the Chewie thing, the giving him the Han Solo
and the Kessel
name.
Run.
Yeah, the Kessel Run. Just every single thing is like a wink-to-camera moment, and that's the biggest problem with this movie. But that being said, there still is a good story here, and the acting is good, and the characters all the new characters introduced are cool. The old characters, I think they did service to. Like, I don't know, I think it's a good movie.
The things that they add that diminish the movie are specifically because it's a beloved character, right? How'd you get your name? How'd you get your gun? How'd you meet your best friend? How'd you get your ship? All of those things are specific to the fact that it's Han Solo, whereas the core of the movie of like this plucky young guy who's had a rough upbringing, he wants to get out and see the galaxy, and it's a rough place, and he's going to become an outlaw, but he's not really a bad guy. That story works really well. And like you said, all the characters are good. The new characters are good. There's a lot of good there. And then it kind of, it gets a little tainted by some of that stuff. But honestly, it doesn't really bother me. I think Alden is an amazing Han Solo. I think he does a great job.
I was about to say, I think it's a shame. Like, I agree with what you're saying about if this weren't Han Solo, then people would not have had so many problems with it. But I think it's such a shame because he did such a good job portraying Han Solo.
He's excellent.
Like, yeah. And I think a lot of people like confused what they didn't like about the movie with his portrayal.
Yeah. It was like an impossible task, wasn't it? You were never going to get people on side.
Yeah, exactly.
And they did it perfectly too, because he didn't mimic Han Solo exactly. He's a younger Han Solo who's he's in love and he's a little bit pluckier, like you said. And you see how over the course of this movie, he would eventually get to the Han Solo we see in the original Star Wars, right? I feel like it makes perfect sense.
He's like more laid back and sure of himself. And
also not trusting
I
of people, you know what I mean? Because that's a big part of the thing in this. Like, he sees himself as this outlaw, but he's not really like these other people. He's got a good heart, but he doesn't even see it himself, because at the very end, I'm jumping to the end, I don't even know why, but at the very end, she's like, you want to join the rebellion? And he's like, not for me. And he thinks he's not a good guy, you know, and he doesn't trust people. But I think that's perfect for like how it leads into his character later on.
Well, it's a good arc as well, because of the Beckett character, the Woody Harrelson character, I think is
a great
really,
character.
really great in this. And the mentoring in how to be an outlaw that he gets from him via the experience that he has too, right? Like, there's a couple of moments where like they talk, but it's also just you see Han observing him and learning from the way that he holds himself and the way that he approaches situations. And to your point about like the ending, John, I think the ending with that and the way that those two characters reconcile is really good.
I liked him threatening to blow up everyone with a thermal detonator.
But it was
he
just
clicks a rock with his mouth. There's a great he has a great like cocky overconfidence in the movie that I think is really it's a really good performance.
I agree. And also I think it's like you were saying, Johnny, it's like a version of it that's like more put on, it feels than the original, than like the later Han Solo that he becomes, where he's like more sure of himself. Yeah.
I also like L2 is hilarious.
Oh yeah, L3,
great character. L3.
One of the best droids. She's so good. Phoebe Waller-Bridge is so good in this.
I gotta be honest, I hate the full name there, but
what is the name? L3.
L337.
L3. Why? Does it mean something that I'm not getting?
It's like it's supposed to be like leet, like internet speak, you know?
Oh, I don't know what that means. Leet?
You know what leet is?
Johnny, I don't know either.
What are you guys talking about? This is like
I know Hanese. I know Jawanese.
It's like generations ago. Like it was like how to say elite or cool or it's like of the era.
Okay,
of like,
I don't think that they were doing that on purpose.
I pwned him. Oh no, 100%.
You think so?
100%. It's well documented that that's what they're doing.
Okay.
It makes me cringe a little bit.
I don't know anything about
the
this.
characters kind of cringe though, but like in a good way, I think.
I like what they're doing with giving the Millennium Falcon a backstory of, you know, there's an AI in there that's crude. That was good.
And also I think the CGI on that character is really good, because in the behind the scenes they actually had Phoebe Waller-Bridge there wearing like plastic pieces of the robot around her body, just walking around and acting, and they replaced all of her body with like wires and shit, and it looks really good.
Yeah, it's really cool. You get a really cool performance for I mean, Star Wars has always done this, where a lot of the droids are people in costumes and people in suits and stuff like that, and it makes for a really unique feel to it. I like how she's kind of got like a sassy walk, because she's got a sassy attitude, and she's not down for this oppression of droids. And I think it's a really fun bit, and I like how it comes in the final heist.
Also, Donald Glover's really good as Lando.
Yeah, I was just about to say the same
Agreed.
thing, Johnny. He kills it.
And the relationship between him and Han Solo is great. And I love the end of the movie where he goes back to play cards with him again, and he like takes his cheat card. And I love that. I think that's great.
Something that I think is really cool about the original Star Wars movies, there's a lot of reading between the lines of things. There's a lot of stuff that's left unsaid. There's a lot of comments that get made that don't really get expounded on. I mean, to some extent, there's negatives about that in this movie, like the Kessel Run, for example, right? He brags about that, but they don't go into it in A New Hope. He just mentions, I did the Kessel Run and blah, 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 in so many parsecs, whatever. I love that we know the Falcon was Lando's ship at some point, and Han won it from him. And getting to see how that plays out, like you said, Johnny, the callback, the stealing the cheat card, all that, I think it's really good.
But okay, so that's an example of like the callback working, though.
Yeah,
you know?
sure.
Like
it's not fundamentally bad to do the callbacks and the winks and stuff like that, right? They went a little too hard with it in this.
No, I agree.
It's only with the Solo name and the Chewbacca name that those are a little bit too much. It's not every single thing. And also to directly compare this to Mandalorian and Grogu, it's actually crazy how much more successful this movie is in terms of character development and having a story and having an arc when they were confined so much more, right? Because they confined themselves to every piece of history we know about Han Solo. We need to make it work around that. But they did actually make it work. Like, I don't necessarily think that that was the right thing to do, to confine yourself so much and to be so self-referential, but they do a better job making a story than Mando does, which is completely free. They could have done whatever they wanted.
Yeah, 100%. And talking about too, we said that Mandalorian was basically an action movie. I think the action set pieces in this, I think the train heist, better than anything in Mandalorian and Grogu. I love the train heist. I think it's a really, really cool sequence.
Yeah, I agree.
Really unique, like harkening back to some old movies, maybe like a Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, but a Star Wars version of it. This dual train suspended on the rails. It's really unique. It's really fun.
And something you haven't seen before either. Another thing I think directly comparing it to Mandalorian and Grogu, where this movie is a lot better, is like I was talking about the stakes, where this movie shows you how to do it correctly. Where not only are there stakes as in people are going to get killed, and you actually do see people die. You see people who are part of what's-his-face's crew die early on. There's intense personal stakes for Han Solo as a character because he wants to get back to the planet to get back with Kira. I don't know anybody's name, turns out. But I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot.
You're close.
There's a lot going on in this in terms of stakes on a bigger scale, as in terms of crime syndicates doing bad things.
Yeah, they're going to kill us if we don't get this job done for them.
And they're going to die if they don't get the job done. And the shit's going to explode if they don't drive fast enough, right?
Yep.
Like, there's just I think it's a perfect example to compare them directly and show how this one is a lot more successful by creating stakes that make sense and are meaningful for the action and for the personal.
I guess the downside of doing it with the established characters, though, is like you're constrained by where Han Solo ends up, so you're never really.
No, that's
like,
true.
What's he gonna do? Is he gonna?
Yeah, that's very true. But I do agree, Johnny, though, like the way that the scenes build on each other and the way that right from the beginning of the movie we get the setup of he's got Kira, he left her behind, he got away, but she didn't, and his whole goal is to get a ship so he can go back and rescue her.
Yeah, and those are his personal stakes.
Right, and it's set up right in the beginning, and throughout the course of the whole movie, that's always what's grounding him. Kira is always what's on his mind and how he's going to reconcile that and do what he promised her he was going to do. And all of these various things keep getting in the way and making things more complicated and making things more difficult. And it builds and builds and builds in I don't know, it's a really fun ride.
Quora is from Tron, I just realized.
Oh, there you go.
I think you said Korra.
That's from Avatar.
Yeah, that's from Avatar.
Yeah, you're all over
Kira,
the place.
Is it Kira? Is it Quora? Or is it Cara? Cara Delevingne from that Planet movie that nobody saw.
with Dane DeHaan.
Yeah, that's Star Wars, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, same universe. Just later.
What else is there to say? It's a good movie.
It's been a while since I've seen it.
Oh, you didn't rewatch it?
No, I absolutely did
not. I only have seen it one time, and I rewatched it, and I actually was going into it thinking it's probably on par with Mandalorian in my mind, but it's a lot better. It's actually a good movie. I do agree with what you're saying, Andy, about like the stakes are a little bit messed up doing a prequel for characters where they end up, Mm-hmm. But I do think they do the best job that they could with what they had, honestly.
I just feel like, I mean, again, it's been a while since I've seen it. I just remembered thinking like, I know this character, like Kira isn't in Han Solo's life later. So like, what am I expecting the outcome here to be?
No, I mean,
but she doesn't die.
True.
I guess they were going to, I guess the answer really is they were going to like go on a whole
they were going to
follow up movie, right?
And
like, yeah. And we never got to see that, but
I think that is fair. And it definitely is always a problem with prequels. Like, Yoda's not going to die when he fights Palpatine in episode 3. You maybe should think, what if he's gonna, but he doesn't. But yeah. I do think that what the movie is sort of building you towards. And it never fully gets there, but it's what Johnny said earlier, which is that this version of Han Solo isn't trying to be the one we saw in A New Hope, but over the course of the movie, he gets closer to it as time goes on. He's like sort of assembling the personality, the experience, the wardrobe pieces, the gaunt, whatever.
Cynicism.
Yeah, exactly. And I think by the end, I really like the scene with Beckett where he confronts him for the last time and he ends up shooting Beckett and Beckett says, "You finally did the right thing. I was going to kill you." And it shows you that Han has fundamentally changed as a character. He never would have done that in the beginning of the movie. So I feel like that's what you're building towards. It's not necessarily like, oh, what's going to happen with Kira? Because you're right, Andy. You know that it's not going to work out.
And that's a great part too, because when I actually was something I was disliking about the movie when I was just watching it was towards the end. There's too much betrayal back and forth. Like it happens like 10 times. Like Crystal betrays him, and then
Crystal.
She like betrays him, and then she betrays the other guy, and then she betrays the other. Like it goes back like 4 times, and I was thinking like that's too much. But whatever. It was starting to annoy me a little bit. Switcheroo. But then it was rescued by Han killing I don't remember his name again already.
Beckett.
Killing.
What confused me about that?
Yeah.
Is he didn't say McClunky. And Sean and Han shot him anyway.
I thought about that too. Is that a reference to him shooting first? I think it is.
I assumed so, but it like doesn't line up with the edits that have been done to make it so that.
But
Sean,
that's a cool.
God damn it, Han!
Did you call him Sean?
I've called him Sean like 3
That's
times.
actually crazy. Why we can't? We're gonna seem like we don't know anything about Star Wars.
Sean Holo,
Sean Holo, and Quora.
You just called her Crystal the last time you were talking about her.
And what's the Wookiee's name again?
It's too long. I can't remember that.
Oh yeah. We'll give him a nickname, Stewie. I think if you're a Star Wars fan and you didn't like this movie before, and you came back to it and watched it now with like a fresh mind, I almost guarantee you would like it better than you thought you did.
I don't think it's a perfect movie by any stretch of the imagination, but I think it's a really solid Star Wars movie, a movie set in the Star Wars universe. I think it's really solid. I enjoy it a lot. From a character arc perspective, it's a lot stronger. I think there's a lot more creativity going on in terms of doing stuff I haven't seen before in a Star Wars space. Yeah, you're using old existing characters again, but they also added a lot of new characters who I really like. I think Beckett is great. I think L3 is great. I don't know. There's a lot of pluses for this movie for me. Do you guys want to rank this above or below Mando and Grogu?
Imagine we put it below.
I wouldn't.
No, I definitely would put it above.
Rat democracy.
Yeah,
Andy?
I mean, I remember liking this movie quite a lot. If I'm perfectly honest, I have like recency bias with the Mandalorian and Grogu.
Well, you can rank how you want.
Yeah, it's your rat opinion.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna say Mandalorian and Grogu's number 1 for me.
And that pisses me off that you did that. Why does the Mandalorian have to get all this show and all this and like a whole backstory of a world with different Mandalorians and a planet just because like a Boba Fett, he looked kind of cool in the original? You got to have all this backstory just because one guy looked cool. He wasn't even the coolest looking guy in that group of bounty hunters.
You talking about Dengar, obviously.
Yeah, obviously I'm talking about Dengar. He's easily the coolest one, and I don't understand why we can't have a Dengar planet with Dangalorians, and why instead of not removing the helmet, you can't remove the toilet paper from your head because it's got special religious undertones to it.
You're making a lot of good points.
Like, I just don't understand what's so special about stupid ass Mandalorians.
Yeah, I mean, it is pretty funny when you think about it because you can argue whether or not you think Boba Fett looks cool or not. If he looks the coolest of that group of bounty hunters,
and objectively, Dengar looks cooler.
right. Objectively, Dengar looks cooler, but also objectively, Boba Fett sucks. He is dog shit in the original trilogy.
That is true.
He gets killed by blind Han Solo.
Nobody can speak anymore.
Nobody can speak.
Blonde Sean.
Blonde Sean Holo kills him by bumping his jetpack. Like, he's actually not good.
Dengar would never.
Dengar would never.
I feel like it took me way too long to realize. Like, it's definitely just how it's the armor design, right? Everybody thinks it looks cool,
Yeah.
And how it's just like a knight. It's just like a medieval knight, and that's the whole. That's the whole
and
thing.
and how's he seeing space with those tinted lenses? Nobody's talking about that.
So true.
He's in darkness all the time, and he's wearing sunglasses indoors in darkness.
And then
That's a good point.
And then they had a chance, right, to redeem the Mandalorians when they put Jango Fett in the prequels. And he too sucks. And he too sucks.
Nah, he had a good showing on Camino.
On Camino,
yeah, his fight with Obi-Wan's okay. He's okay.
He lasted
You're right
5
about that.
seconds in the fucking arena.
Yeah.
It was rainy, dude, and he couldn't see anything. It was nighttime. He had a darkened visor.
It's hilarious. Every time the Mandalorian in this movie was turning a flashlight on in the darkness, I was like, maybe just take your sunglasses off.
That's why he got captured.
He couldn't see.
He couldn't see.
All right, well, Andy, you're outvoted.
Yeah, that's okay.
You know what pissed me off in Solo, A Star Wars Story?
Go ahead.
There's a part where they're talking about people that they should have hired to work on the job instead of Han
Yeah, they
and
name
Chewie.
Bosk and they don't
say
name...
Bosk. Why not Dengar? Again, the coolest one of that group.
I'm gonna be honest. I imagine Dengar smells horrible.
What does smell have to do with bounty hunting?
I'm just saying. You were talking about taking his towel, his toilet paper wraps off.
He can't take them off because it's part of his creed. Were you listening? He's a Dengarlorian. They don't remove their toilet paper.
I think he can't take them off because of the smell.
No, it's from a different planet.
It's special.
It's like
it's
air
special.
freshener toilet paper. So anyway, Han Solo is better than Mandalorian. Official.
Yeah, definitely. All right, last up on the list, the first one that came out, Rogue One: A Star Wars Story.
Do you think if they would have made a sequel to Rogue One, they would have called it Rogue 2?
Yeah.
I like how you had the same joke prepared for Solo.
Do you think if they make a sequel to Mandalorian and Grogu, they'll call it Mandalorian and Grow 2?
Mandalorian and Grogu.
Oh, they get cloned. Somehow the Mandalorian and Grogu returned.
Yo.
Quick synopsis. This follows the events that lead to the rebels stealing the Death Star plans.
How recently did you guys watch this movie?
I watched it after I watched Andor season 2.
Yeah, I rewatched it today. How recently have you rewatched it?
I have not seen it since it came out, and I have not seen Andor season 2, so I think my opinions are going to be pretty blasphemous to you guys.
I don't think that's true. I don't. Okay, so let's get this out of the way. We're going to probably be blasphemous to a percentage of the Star Wars community that thinks that this is the greatest Star Wars thing that's ever been created.
It's unavoidable. Yeah.
This is a mixed movie though.
Yeah, I don't think that.
Truly.
I like it. I don't dislike the movie, but I do not think that this is the best Star Wars movie that's ever been made.
It is crazy that people say that. I like the movie. I think it's a good movie.
Yeah, I don't know what the actual percentage of the community that feels that way is, but it's a vocal percentage.
I understand the context being changed by Andor coming out. And this,
but people said it before.
Yeah, it was before
exactly.
Andor.
People had that reaction right after it came out. I felt so disconnected from that opinion. I have no idea why people thought that.
I mean, I think what it comes down to, Johnny, you said it's mixed. I fully agree with you. I think it just comes down to that. What's happened here is that it's a messy script, but it's being made by a filmmaker, Gareth Edwards here, who is very talented at visual storytelling and action set pieces. And so
I mean, there were some really cool action set pieces, like the battle on Scarif.
Visually, this is one of the best Star Wars movies.
Right.
Far.
So you kind of have like a blending here of like some peak Star Wars action set piece stuff, and then also characters that change their motivations and emotions and stuff from scene to scene.
Well, and I mean, I think you're getting to something with the Gareth Edwards thing, because I like Gareth Edwards as a director. I think visually and vibe-wise, he directs very cool movies. He is a terrible story director. I mean, like, every one of his movies, the plots are so messed up, and there's so many plot holes, and they're just not well done in that aspect. And I think you have Tony Gilroy writing this movie and writing the backstory to this movie, which obviously now that we've seen Andor 2 and seen him expand on it, it's incredibly complex, right? Like, the characters are not basic characters. Kind of how we were talking about with Mandalorian and Grogu, where we're like, oh, they're simple characters. You could just give them a simple character arc. it's not as easy in this because the whole movie's about like the gray area of the rebellion, right? I think it was a lot of good things, but also a poor combination to partner such complex story and character arcs and stuff with a director who is really just a visual guy.
Well, so my understanding is that Tony Gilroy wasn't originally on the movie. When they shot the whole movie, Disney was not happy with it, and they asked Tony Gilroy to fix it. And then the changes that he made were so substantial that he ended up getting a full screenwriting credit on the movie. And then he ended up directing some of the reshoots for it as well.
Gotcha. That makes sense, because I do remember seeing the trailer for this movie and seeing completely different shots that were not in the movie.
The original trailer is a different story.
I think what you were saying about the characters, they was trying to establish these gray characters in very little time, and there being so many of them as well. Like, I think that's part of why it fell flat for me, was because like I would like didn't have any buy-in with any of the characters, and so I didn't really care what happened to them, and them being like morally gray just made me, I think, feel more unsympathetic towards them.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, I totally
Whereas
agree.
like with like the Mandalorian or something, at least they're establishing he follows an honor code. He like is somebody that you want to root for from the beginning. Whereas
no, I do
these
agree
are
with
like,
what you're saying.
I don't know how I even feel about these characters, and now the movie's over.
And that's really the issue with the movie, just to like make it cut and dry, right? The first half of this movie is introducing the characters and all their dynamics, and it's happening so fast, and the pacing is terrible, and you're not getting a good idea of anybody, except maybe Jyn. You get an okay idea of her, but still not even that good.
Yeah,
and
she's probably the best one.
And then at the end of the movie, this movie is like about sacrifice, right? That's what it's ultimately about. They all sacrifice themselves, and you're supposed to feel upset, but you don't really, because you didn't care about them that much. Like, that's ultimately the issue.
Exactly. The way they tried to play the ending of it being so tragic was like, it just fell flat for me, because it was like, I don't know who these people are.
But I think the weird thing about this movie is even at the, like, I remember immediately after seeing it not really liking it, same as you, Andy. And I remember even having like an argument with a friend in college who was like, it's the best Star Wars movie. And I was like, what are you talking about? Who even gives a fuck about any of these characters? But then now, having like watched Andor and it being one of my favorite shows ever, going back to it, I think it's so much better. And that's not to praise the movie. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, that's to show the issues with the movie in a way. But
I probably will.
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I probably will watch Andor season 2.
Yeah, you have to.
As soon as I get a Disney Plus subscription again, and then watch Rogue One after. My question is like, does the character that he is portraying in Rogue One actually line up well with Andor season 2? Like, does it seem
pretty close?
Does it seem self-consistent?
It's a little messy.
Yeah,
but
a little bit.
It's not Andor's fault. It's Rogue One's fault, because Rogue One is messy. I mean, like in one scene, he's shooting a guy in an alley. In the next scene, he's like, "I'm not a bad guy." In the next scene, he's killing her dad. In the next scene, he's like, "I'm on your side." You know what I mean? It's a little bit like flip floppy. Where I think his character progression in Andor, and you know, you can go listen to Rats on Andor for me and Johnny talking real in depth about this. His progression in Andor is much more consistent and plotted, and makes sense how he goes from A to B to C to whatever. Whereas this movie kind of is a little all over the place, but they did their best with Andor to try and bridge the gap, I think.
It's on the movie for being so all over the place.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, it's a shame, because I'm with you guys about the characters being probably like the main issue here, and just the structure of the movie, where essentially the first hour is trying to introduce you to the characters, the conflict, the relationship that they have. And then the last half of the movie is what you expected the movie to be when they pitched it, right? It's the rebels getting the Death Star plans. And the last half of the movie is kind of awesome. I mean,
it's so cool.
Like,
the entire Scarif thing is incredible.
Yeah, it's an incredible, it's a really visually cool planet. There's some really cool action there. The Death Troopers are cool. The like Scarif AT-ATs are cool. Some of the sequences in the X-Wings and the Y-Wings trying to destroy the shield gate are really cool. But the setup of it, like Jyn Erso as a character being this person who has grown up like an orphan raised by the rebellion, but the most insane rebel that there is, Saul Guerrero. It's kind of an interesting setup for somebody who would lead the mission to go like this essentially suicide mission. But they overcomplicated it maybe a little bit too much. And specifically, I guess her dynamic with Cassian Andor is a little bit muddied because they can't quite figure out what they're doing with him in this movie, that it doesn't quite land probably as substantially as it maybe could have.
And there's just not enough context for the amount of characters. That's the problem. Like, even you're saying Saw Gerrera raises her, and that's a big thing in the movie. But when I saw this movie, I didn't know who Saw Gerrera was.
Sure, yeah, same.
Like, I had such a vague idea of who he was as a character. And they expand upon it in other things, but it's not well explained in this movie. He just seems like a fucking insane guy who they go to see.
Yeah, I just remember him screaming and then everything exploding.
Yeah, but that's literally what the scene is. They go to see him and it's like, your adopted dad, he's fucking insane, and then he dies.
Yep.
And you go, what is happening? What's going on? And again, having watched Andor both seasons and then coming back and watching this movie, it makes the movie so much better. And again, not crediting the movie, because I think it ultimately failed and it needed another project to then add context to make it good. But I enjoy the movie a lot now, honestly.
That's really interesting to me. Yeah, I can't wait to see if I actually will enjoy the movie now, like after watching Andor. Because I loved Andor season 1. So
I'm such a big Andor fan too, and I think Cassian Andor is like the best non-Jedi Star Wars character out of all of them. Like, I think his character is amazing, and I like where his character ends up, including the movie, even though there's a couple weird spots in it. But
yeah, I think the side characters work a lot better here than
there are fun
the main characters. Because like, I really like
the droid is incredible.
Chirrut, K2 is great. I think that's an awesome expansion of this. You know, you brought this up earlier, Johnny, and I fully agree with you. I don't need a movie to expand Star Wars lore to be a good movie. I don't think Solo really does that, and I really like it. But I do like here this different way to experience and interact with the Force from the blind monk who was a guardian of the temple on Jeddah. I think that's actually a really cool moment. I think the end where he walks through the fire to flip the switch because the Force is with him and none of the bullets hit him. I think that part is pretty cool.
I remember thinking like it kind of restores a lot of the mysticism that was surrounding the Force, like in the originals, that kind of was less and less a part of Star Wars.
And that the Force is with everybody too. It's not just Jedi.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I also think Ben Mendelsohn is really good here.
I was going to say that. I think he's a great character.
Krennic is a great villain here.
Yeah, he's good. I was just reminded of the scene. This movie maybe has one of
I know what you're going to say,
the cringiest lines in all of Star Wars to me, and
the choking on your ambition.
It's really hard to forgive this movie for that. Yeah.
Okay, but does it balance it out that it also has like the coolest Darth Vader scene in any Star Wars movie?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It has the worst and the best.
To be honest, yeah, right. It has one of the best Vader moments, one of the worst Vader moments. So yeah, you're right. They cancel out at least.
I kind of like Vader doing a dad joke. I think that's pretty funny.
A young Vader.
Well, he's a dad.
Yeah, he's a dad. Exactly.
I love the way that this goes directly into New Hope. I think that's actually really effective.
Yeah, it's cool. Except for the...
What do you mean? It's like a huge plot hole.
Why?
Oh, in A New Hope, Darth Vader boards the ship that he had just been like chasing down 30 seconds ago.
No, it's a different ship.
Yeah, no, I understand. It's a different ship, but I'm just saying, like, he boards a ship and he's like, I have word that you have the plans, you know?
Yeah,
and they're like, no, we don't.
He doesn't know which ship got the plans, though. They just beamed them up, right? They don't necessarily know for sure which ship had them.
I would agree that it's not absolutely perfect, but I don't think it's a plot hole either.
Yeah, it's not perfect, but I think you can rationalize it well enough.
Okay, I guess it's not a plot hole. Yeah, it's just tonally him boarding that ship.
Totally, it's
the
a
way
mess.
We leave him off is like crazy. Like, he would just slaughtered a whole hallway of rebels, and now he's like
talking.
His lightsaber's put away, and he's willing to engage in.
He chokes a guy with his hand. He doesn't even use the Force.
I chalk that up to him being tired. He's just kind of exhausted. He's like, I guess we'll talk. It's just kind of cool to me because you don't see a lot of movies do that, sequels or prequels or anything, go directly into it. Yeah, I think it's kind of novel. Like, I agree, it's not perfect, I guess.
Yeah, I think you said it too, Andy, though. But K2 rules. The droid, the the Imperial droid.
Yeah, I'm such a fan of the HK-47 robot in the Knights of the Old Republic video game, and he scratched that itch for me big time. Like the murderous sort of robot with an attitude. You know?
Yeah, I mean Alan Tudyk is great as the voice. He's got such a sass, and I love it.
And also, like, to talk about more about the story, because we were doing that with the other movies. I do think that this movie does have effective character arcs. Again, the establishment of the characters is not perfect, and that's the issue. But Cassian and Jyn Erso both go on character arcs that make sense.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Jyn doesn't want anything to do with the rebellion because Saw Gerrera kind of ruined it for her. She just wants to be on her own.
And her father, too.
Right, and the Empire has kind of ruined her life because they stole her father. Cassian Andor doesn't really trust anybody and is kind of just like jaded and cynical and low-key a little bit evil in this movie. And he ends up trusting Jyn and believing that maybe not everybody is out to get him.
And then she kind of shows him that you don't only have to do bad things for good. And then he ultimately sacrifices himself for the ultimate good to kind of ease his consciousness of all the bad he's done and also prove his allegiance to, like, goodness in the world, you know? Like, that's a good arc.
Yeah, I had this in my notes. I think his line that he says to her, where he says rebellions are built on hope early in the movie when she's kind of all jaded and doesn't want to be a part of this. And then she says that back to the tribunal when she's trying to convince them to go after the plans and they don't want to do it. And they say, what hope do we have? And she says rebellions are built on hope. I think that's a really nice moment. It's a good line. It's a good Star Wars line. Yeah, then after that, when Cassian goes to her and with the group of people who are gonna follow her, and he says to her, you know, we've all done a lot of bad things. I don't think we can sleep with ourselves at night if we don't do the right thing now.
And again, like, it would have been more effective had they established his character better and her character better, but it still does work.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just a bit messy.
Yeah, no, I can believe what you guys are saying about the characters, you know, having an arc that makes sense if you can feel something for them.
Yeah, going back to like the Mandalorian and Grogu again, it's not that this one is perfect, but it has something. You know what I mean? Like there's problems with it, but there is an attempt here to have some sort of a character arc and a message.
Yeah, I think all that I would say is, like, this movie was asking me to care about the characters, whereas the Mandalorian and Grogu, like, care about the arc of the characters, whereas the Mandalorian and Grogu, it was almost like very quickly I realized, like, there's not going to be an arc and they're not asking me to expect an arc.
I see what you're saying, but that's you accepting, like, a flaw. Do you know what I mean? And I think that ultimately comes from, like, as somebody who felt the exact same way you feel about Rogue One now, Andy, when I originally saw it, to now, like, really, really liking it with extra context from TV shows and stuff. I feel like the original frustration I had genuinely came from the fact that you're watching Rogue One thinking, this movie could be so great. Like, the ceiling for this movie is so high if they just nailed the characters a little bit better. And I think Mandalorian and Grogu, you're accepting that the ceiling is not very high because they're not asking you of anything. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
I 100% think that's right. Like, my perception of these movies is completely colored by my expectations going in.
And also what they're presenting to you, you know? Like, the Mandalorian and Grogu is not presenting anything profound, anything morally gray, anything that dynamic, really. But Rogue One is really trying to do something big, you know? And it's difficult to rank those things, right?
No, exactly. I think that's where we can agree. It's like, they were just trying to do very different things, and I feel like, at least in my perception of at least like the Mandalorian and Grogu, what it was trying to do, it succeeded at, and it didn't try to do what most movies do and actually have some sort of character development. And I'm okay with that. I was okay. With that.
It is a valid thing of, like, do you celebrate something for a swing and a miss or a partial miss? God, we cannot talk. Do you celebrate something for a swing and a partial miss, or do you celebrate something that literally put the ball on a fucking tee and hit it, and you're like, I guess.
Yeah, exactly,
right.
Exactly. I'm more partial to the one trying to do something greater.
And I honestly think it's up to your expectations.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, Yeah. If you're really expecting a lot, then a big swing and a miss will probably feel worse than like a little putt.
And also another thing I'll say to defend Rogue One too is that the we've said it before, but the final sequence on Scarif is incredible. That entire thing, it's like a third of the movie, maybe even more.
Yeah,
like
it's like
35%
it's like 50 minutes of the movie. Yeah, it's a long time.
Mm-hmm.
From start to finish. The pacing is amazing. The action is amazing. The stakes are amazing. Everything is working so effectively. And so that's one thing.
Do you know what I think is so good about that too, Johnny, building off of you, is that with the stakes is that they do the old philosophy of the meanwhile back at the ranch that people talk about with film editing, which is you build a particular story, you know, an A plot, a B plot, a C plot, whatever, to its climax. And then just as it starts to not get interesting, you switch back over to something else. And then you build at its most interesting, and then you build that up, and then you keep going back. They juggle a lot of different pieces here. You've got Cassian and Jin. You've got Chirrut on the beach with what's his name? I can't think of the other guy's name.
I think
Boz,
it's Korra.
I think. It's Korra.
Yeah,
on the beach. Then you've got Riz Ahmed, Bodhi, and the ship. You've got the rebel fleet that comes in space. So you're juggling these 4 parallel stories, and you're totally right. The pacing and the balance there is really, really good, and it moves really well. It's very kinetic. The flow is just great.
It's really just the first third of the movie that is not excellent because it's jumping from planet to planet to planet, introducing people.
Every 5 minutes.
And like the opening scene is good with Jyn Erso getting taken, but I'm talking about after that into the point where everybody's met up and they're going on missions, right? It is very sloppy, but I like it could be cleaned up and the movie would be so good. It would be so good. And the other thing I'll say to defend the movie too is I do think there would be people out there saying like, oh, you just changed your mind because of Andor and that's giving extra context, but that shouldn't be considered as part of the movie, right? Because it's a separate thing, which is fair to a degree. But I would argue that kind of all of Star Wars is like that, and particularly the movies we're talking about, because Mandalorian and Grogu has 3 seasons of TV before that I watched. And the Solo movie, everything is based on the originals.
But those seasons of television were out before the movie came out. So like it's like you're expecting the audience to come in with that knowledge, whereas
no, but I do hear what you're saying. But do you not watch the original trilogy with context from the prequels, and then it enhances things?
No. I completely I agree.
Like that's what point. Star Wars
like,
is. You know.
That's a stupid line in the sand to draw because all of Star Wars has been doing that ever since the prequels. Yeah.
Like think about that edit that people make of Ben Kenobi talking to Luke about Anakin, and it's like showing all the flashbacks to like the Clone Wars and shit, and it adds like all this context.
Yeah, great edit.
Like that's fucking awesome. And I do the same thing with Rogue One, honestly.
No, I think that's perfectly valid.
That's something special about Star Wars, right? Is that there's so much stuff in this universe, and everything is interacting with each other. They're not isolated movies, you know?
Yeah.
All right, where do you guys want to rank Rogue One? We've got Solo on the top and Mando on the bottom right now.
I mean, I would put it on the bottom.
You would put Mando and Grogu first?
Yeah.
I think if you rewatch, I don't know. I'm not trying to like be like your opinion is wrong, but also I think if you rewatch them, maybe it would be.
No, you're probably right. Yeah. I think it's like, you know, it's all to do with what state of mind I was in when I watched it.
Yeah. I'd put Rogue One first. I don't think it's as clean of a movie as Solo. I think Solo is a very clean movie, but I think going back to like your T-ball thing, I think it's going for something greater, and the depth it reaches is greater than Solo, and so I don't know. And also, I just love Andor, the character.
That's crazy.
I would put it second, so I guess it'll go second. Solo's a better movie to me. I'm with you about like that it's not taking as big of a swing, but I just think Solo's a really solid movie, and I enjoy watching it. And Rogue One, I like the last hour of it, but the other parts of it are kind of a mess. So
yeah, I can't argue with it. But I like Rogue One a lot. Every time I rewatch it now, I really like it.
All right, so really quick, the official Rats on Film Star Wars spin-offs ranking, objectively in our opinion, starting from the bottom: The Mandalorian and Grogu, Rogue One, and The Big Cheese, Solo. Now, we got to do our master Star Wars list.
Oh, and Tim doesn't get to be a part of it?
I don't think so. He's not here, man.
Let's just shake it up. Let's just flip it top to bottom.
Flip it top to bottom.
Yeah, we could switch shit up. Oh my god, guys.
It'll be worth it for Tim's reaction.
So the ranking that the rats have so far is number 1, Star Wars. Number 2, The Empire Strikes Back. Number 3, Revenge of the Sith. Number 4, Return of the Jedi.
List.
Number 5, The Phantom Menace. And number 6, Attack of the Clones. So with that in mind, where do you guys want to put?
I mean, currently looking at it, the one thing I think Empire Strikes Back should be first, but I can't change that, or can I?
No, we can't change the existing list. What I believe happened, Johnny, is that Tim and Andy both put Star Wars number 1, and then you put Empire, and I usually put Empire 1, but I didn't want to split the vote, so I just said I also love the first one, so I put it number 1.
And that's fucked up that you did that.
My bad.
Okay, so where would I put Rogue One?
I mean, I think for me, this is a very easy. This is a very easy.
You're gonna put them all on the bottom.
Yeah, easily.
Okay. I mean, that's fine.
I would put Rogue One above Phantom Menace because, and my rationale is that I think they both have basically this similar issues where the end battle is amazing, but a lot of the other shit is bad in it.
Mm-hmm.
Like the character stuff at the beginning is bad, but I think I like the battle in Rogue One better, and I like Cassian as a character a lot.
I think I'm going to go below Phantom Menace, kind of for a similar reason as you, Johnny. I think they kind of are similar in that way where the end is really good, but the rest of the movie's kind of a mess. But the nostalgia of Phantom Menace wins out for me. It's the first movie I ever saw in a theater, and I like Obi-Wan Kenobi, my favorite Star Wars character. So
yeah. So you'd put it below Attack of the Clones,
but
maybe?
Obi-Wan Kenobi is in Attack of the Clones as well.
Yeah, but Attack of the Clones is a nightmare.
I mean, it is. Yeah, it is a nightmare. But
I like it. I like it. I'm a listen. I'm a '90s kid. I like the prequels, but I can recognize that it's not a very good movie.
Yeah, I think anyone with a brain can.
Okay, so it's gonna go below Phantom, above Clones. All right, so now where do you guys want to put Solo? Andy, you're going the bottom again.
I think I like Attack of the Clones better than Solo, but I like Solo better than Rogue One.
So you got to decide what's more important to you: Attack of the Clones being higher than it deserves, or Rogue One.
I think I will live and die by Attack of the Clones being higher than it deserves.
Okay.
You're just going to fight tooth and nail to make sure Attack of the Clones is not the bottom.
Yeah.
Okay. Johnny, where do you want to put it?
The thing is, if we did the sequels, Attack of the Clones would not be at the bottom. That wouldn't even be a risk.
No, yeah. Well, hey, we're going to get there.
This one is genuinely difficult for me, the Solo versus Attack of the Clones.
Yeah.
Because Solo's obviously a better movie, just as a movie, but Attack of the Clones has so much shit that, is near and dear to my heart as a Star Wars fan and as a child.
Like when Obi-Wan Kenobi sprints and runs out a plate glass window with no hesitation.
He's one with the Force and the Force is with him.
Exactly.
The funny thing, too, is I went on and on about people should rewatch Solo because I think they'll like it better than they thought they liked it and all this stuff. But I'm going to have to put it below Attack of the Clones because I watched it today, and I swear to God, I never have thought about it one single time since seeing it previously to watching it today. And I think of Attack of the Clones all the time.
Okay. So
for better or for worse.
Yeah, yep.
I would put this above Rogue One. So I guess we're going to go below Phantom Menace, above Attack of the Clones.
Well, it would be below Rogue One then.
No, I think it gets weighted down extra by you guys because. Oh wait,
you said below Phantom Menace, but Phantom Menace is above Rogue One.
Oh, my bad. So yeah, below. Well, no, then it'll go below. It'll go on the bottom. You guys will outweigh me.
Get fucked.
Yeah, we're really coming to a compromise that nobody will agree with.
That's what always happens
the whole
on
point
this
of the
fucking show.
That's the whole
Everybody
point of the show.
Everybody hates the list. I've hated every list we've ever made.
But with the making a list and then inserting another list that already you didn't agree with and trying to rank it within the other list, it's like it's chaos. We've multiplied the problem. The permutations of this problem have exploded.
We've multiplied it. We've would you say we've cloned it?
And so last, Mandalorian and Grogu.
Bottom.
Yeah, bottom. Big time bottom. Bury it.
I mean, I would say it's on par with the original Star Wars.
Yeah, currently, so far today, you have been putting it at the top every chance you get.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's below Attack of the Clones for me. So,
but you would put it above Solo.
But above Solo.
I'm just saying. If you're asking, is it if that question is it above Attack of the Clones? The answer is no.
Okay,
always,
yeah.
for
So
all three of
that
these
is the
movies.
question. That is the question. So the answer
Yeah.
is no. And then the second question is it above Solo for you? And you're gonna say no, right?
No, he said yes before.
The Mandalorian.
Oh,
and
yes,
Grogu?
yeah, sorry.
I do think.
Okay,
it is,
yeah.
yeah.
So you're putting it there, and me and Johnny are putting it at the bottom. So it'll go at the bottom.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So the official full Star Wars ranking so far. We haven't done the sequels yet. We'll get there. Starting from the bottom: The Mandalorian and Grogu, Solo, Attack of the Clones, Rogue One, The Phantom Menace, Return of the Jedi, Revenge of the Sith, The Empire Strikes Back, and the still reigning Big Cheese, Star Wars.
Bad list.
I
Tim's gonna love
don't
this list.
I don't agree
It's
with
not
this
that bad
list,
of a list. It's not that bad.
but I don't hate it. I don't really hate it. I don't have that many problems with it.
Is Tim gonna hate it? Do you think Tim loves these movies?
No, you're right. It didn't really affect the movies that he likes, so it's
I actually
Yeah.
don't know what his opinion on
probably
any of
safe
these movies
here.
are.
There's no way he thinks Solo is worse than Attack of the Clones.
yeah. I definitely think he would put Attack of the Clones all the way on the bottom, right?
He hasn't seen Mando and Grogu since the last time I talked to him, so I don't know what his opinion on that is yet. But Rogue One and Solo, I bet he would put above Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones. Also, he's pissed about this list anyway because Revenge of the Sith is above Return of the Jedi, which bothers him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's
Love that.
not even controversial at all.
Yeah, I stand by that.
Revenge of the Sith is arguably the best one out of all of them.
That's a hot take. I don't agree with that, but I do like it.
If you ask a certain generation, that is definitely the prevailing opinion.
Yeah,
But if you ask,
I don't think that's even a hot take. I think it's very arguable. Like, I don't feel so definitive in my ranking for Star Wars, genuinely. I think all the top 3 we have in our list, I could see being the best. I could, like, argue myself into it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I agree. The list isn't that egregious.
Yeah, this is not one of our more. We have definitely way worse lists.
Every list is bad, but some of them are worse than other ones.
Yeah,
Democracy prevails.
yeah. I
If that's
wish.
what you call this. If democracy existed, Dengar would have 3 movies and a show. And you know who plays him? You know who plays Dengar? Fucking John C.
Who?
Reilly.
Oh my God.
You could see that, right? Like, that's
That-
good casting.
That is incredible casting.
Hey Disney, that one's free.
Yeah.
We will do the sequels next. That'll be the next Star Wars episode we do.
Amazing. I'm going to have some hot takes for sure.
Yeah, I'm ready
be,
to do that one. It's going to be a painful rewatch.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen episode 9 since it came out?
Nope.
Have you seen it more than once ever?
Nope.
Yeah, me too.
I think that's the only one that's going to be the really rough one. The other 2, it's fine. I'll rewatch them.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's that one that I'm gonna.
If it wasn't for us making a show about it, there's no way I would have ever rewatched episode 9, I don't think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've stayed away from it. I've abstained. We'll cross that bridge pretty soon.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Rats on Film. Tell a friend about the show. We're a bunch of little rats talk about and rank movies. Let us know what you think about the Star Wars spinoffs. Let us know what you think about our Star Wars ranking. You can follow us social media, Rats on Film Pod, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. We'll post this list and all our future lists on Letterboxd, and we'll be back in a couple weeks to talk about and rank some more movies. Bye.
This is the way.